Am I the asshole for not telling my husband's family that I speak their language?
Ooh.
My husband Peter, 29 male, and I, 27 female, have been married for about 3 years. We have one child together, and I was pregnant with our second. I'm Western Canadian, while he is from Germany. We lived in Canada for a long time, but because of inflation, moving back to Germany seems like a better option for us. We bought a nice house in Hanover, where Peter is from. The day after our flight to Germany, we all visited Peter's family. This was the second time I have seen them. The first time was at our wedding. They greeted us and brought us inside of the house, fussing over my son. We had dinner, and soon we left the house, wanting to settle into our new home. We visited Peter's family often for the next few months, but I had started to realize that they would sometimes speak about me in German. They would make rude comments about my hair and makeup, question my fashion choices, and overall were just very unkind to me. They also said mean things about my pregnant belly, which I was already insecure about. I ended up talking to my husband about this. I told him that I didn't like the way they were treating me. I said that I hated how my every choice was being judged. He told me that he would talk to his family. The next time that we went to his parents' house, there was no more mean comments. For about 3 months, it was like nothing ever happened. I gave birth to a perfect baby girl that we named Lilith. Peter's family was very upset when they heard the name. If you didn't know, Lilith means ghost, or of the night. We didn't pick this name because of its meaning, but because it is a name that every girl in my family has had for many years. My middle name is Lilith, along with my mom's, my grandma's, and even my great-grandma's. For a while, I didn't visit my in-laws. I didn't want to hear them talk about how I shouldn't have named my daughter Lilith. But yesterday we saw them again. It was my mother-in-law's birthday. As soon as we showed up, things started to go badly. Everyone wanted to hold Lilith, which made my mother-in-law upset because people weren't paying attention to her and made me overwhelmed. I didn't want people holding her. I was going through a pretty bad postpartum depression, and it was still pretty early to see people. I let people look at her, but declined when anyone asked to hold her. During dinner, I heard my sister-in-law talking to my mother-in-law in German. I heard her complaining about how she couldn't hold my baby. My sister-in-law even had the audacity to call me, and I quote, a fat, ugly, hokey addict. I turned to my sister-in-law and mother-in-law and told them off in German. I basically said that I have always known what they have said about me, but calling me names was the last straw. I also mentioned how I have known German for almost my whole life. The table instantly blew up. People were yelling at me because apparently this was all my fault. I left with Peter and we haven't talked to them since. So am I the asshole?
Just because, no.
In what world?
In what world that they're absolutely shitty fucking human beings. Sorry, I gotta stop swearing. In what world that they are absolutely the worst kinds of human beings, does that make it your fault because you can understand them?
Exactly. That's so backwards.
Right?
Because I can understand you, that makes me an asshole.
You know, it's possible for people to also pull out Google Translate on their phone.
Yeah.
So maybe when you're talking shit around your family members in another language, don't you think they're going to be curious of what you're saying? And sister-in-law, you want to hold a baby? Go have one yourself, bro. Nobody owes you to hold their freaking baby, man.
Exactly. It's so entitled to be like, I'm mad because she won't let me hold her baby. What do you mean?
Aren't you grateful that your son lives in Germany again? Like, they could have stayed in Canada.
I feel like they should go back, honestly.
I would go back.
Or just like...
Also, nobody blames Peter. Peter never mentioned to his family that his wife knows German, even when he talked to them.
Right? Why is it her fault that
also,
she didn't tell them?
No offense, but Peter, what the fuck is up? Are you saying that you...
What the fuck is up, bro?
Oh, sorry, I gotta stop swearing. But okay, so she hears that her family is talking smack on her. Peter obviously hears it too and doesn't say anything. He would have been is he not, maybe he hasn't been in the room. Maybe they were saying it when she was in the room, but he wasn't because they know that he understands German.
He better have not been in the room. He better have not been in that house.
Right? And not saying more stuff. So
I didn't think of that.
Yeah. But low key, just curious here. Just curious.
Okay, what are you gonna say?
A little bit. You can speak German. You meet Peter's family. You have a wedding. Why?
Yeah.
Why would you not be speaking in German to them.
Right.
And like getting the brownie points for speaking their language? Is it because you could tell from the beginning of your relationship that Peter's family is kind of shit?
Yeah.
And you want to be able to know when they're talking shit about you?
Maybe it was
That's something I
intentional.
would do.
Yeah.
Like if I could speak another language, I wouldn't tell anybody that I could speak that other language. I would save it for this moment. But I am curious, not that it makes you the asshole, but I'm curious, what was your reasoning for not like the first time you met his family and at the wedding be like
Yeah.
German, and like conversating in German? You want your schnitzel? You know, something like that. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to think like, what's the, like when you think French, you're like, oh, bonjour. But like, what do you say when you think German? I got nothing.
I think schnitzel.
That's what comes to my mind for German. You know what I mean? Like what comes to your mind when you like attempt to like say something in German? So very, very interesting why you decided. It doesn't make you the asshole, but why did you decide to keep that secret to yourself?
Yeah, that's a good question. You're asking the good questions here. Top comment, not the asshole. Assholes are never wrong. They remain assholes by refusing to ever take ownership of their own words or actions, so they never have to change. They can be as judgmental and insulting as they want because they're right and anyone who challenges them must be at fault. So of course it's your fault that they were insulting you. They couldn't possibly have been in the wrong. So you married into a family of assholes.
It makes me question Peter.
Right?
You are who raised you. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree is an expression for a reason.
Okay, I'm not gonna say that because his parents are assholes, he must be an asshole too.
No, but it makes me question because people are usually like the people that they were raised around. So it makes me question. Similar in a sense. Not saying they're carbon copies, but there's some characteristics that blend in there.
Okay.
So makes me curious. Is she blinded by Peter Love? Teresa disagrees with me on this one.
Yep. What?
Second top comment. And you're living in Germany. Do they really think you wouldn't learn the language of the country where you live? They've been extremely rude to you and about you. You're definitely not the asshole. I think your husband needed to grow a shiny spine as soon as they started and should have told them off instantly. So he is a bit of an A, or at least a total wuss. That brings my question. Like, were they only saying it when he wasn't in the room?
Yeah.
Or have they been saying it in front of him?
Yeah. But also she did tell him. She was like, I don't like the comments that your families are making.
Right?
He said I would talk to them. Did he talk to them?
Yeah.
Because they continued.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Not very demure.
Okay. Are you saying that OP was a reserved, modest, and shy individual?
No.
Okay.
I'm saying the parents weren't very modest.
They definitely weren't shy. I mean, yeah, they definitely weren't shy.
It's exactly not very demure.
No, that I'm saying the opposite. Demure is shy.
Yeah, so they weren't.
Never mind. We're moving on. Back to me.
Let's delete that Google page. Okay?
No,
you don't need to refer to it
Keeping
anymore.
that definition tab up and
that
ready.
definition was not what I had in mind when I named this episode.
Yeah, so then I tried to Google Demure 2024 to see if there's like a different meaning. Like what's the modern dictionary, urban dictionary? That's right?
Yeah, let's do Urban Dictionary. There we go. Should have done it at the beginning.
It's the
of
number
the
one.
episode.
It's the number one search.
What do you mean?
I typed in Urban Dictionary, and the next thing that popped up was Urban Dictionary Demure is like the number one Google search that comes up. Urban Dictionary, a young woman that is well spoken with manners and can be outwardly shy/reserved, innocent in thought, and therefore attractive in a way that is unknown to her.
Try Urban Dictionary, not very demure.
Not very demure means the opposite of being modest, reserved, and serious.
Okay, we may need to change this title.
Demure means modest, reserved, and serious. It can also mean coy, polite, kind, or sensitive. For example, you might describe someone as demure if they are quiet, shy, and behave very correctly. Not very demure means the opposite of being modest, reserved, and serious. So their family was not very demure.
Yeah, it works.
So was the title? What was the title? What's the title for this episode
Not
again?
very demure.
Not very demure. So the opposite
Yes.
of demure.
Yes.
Okay. I thought the episode was very demure.
No, it's not very demure.
Guys, I'm very confused. All right. Back to me.
Okay. Yes.